Welcome, everyone. I know that I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but our time this morning is somewhat short. It looks like most everyone's in the room. So, as you're able, if you'd like to take your seat, I have a couple of things to pass along as we get to work for our last morning together here. First, just so it doesn't slip by, I really want to say while I get a chance to talk with all of you, this has been a wonderful opportunity for me to be here with you all. I want to thank Brother Aaron for working things out so that I could come. And this, I think I've mentioned to some of you individually, this is my first time really being in the Eastern United States, apart from some stuff in Washington, D.C. over the years. It is absolutely delightful to be with you here. And I know that we've been doing some good godly work in our classes together, but the opportunity to be over at the parsonage with your wonderful family and to be with all of you for conversations outside of class, but especially the class is a real shot in the arm for me. I uh, was annoyed being exiled from the classroom for a couple of years out of things. I just think this is totally inappropriate. And my analogy, I think it's a pretty tight analogy comparison, is how would you feel if the district powers that be told your pastor he couldn't step into your church or talk to you for a month, for a year, for a couple of years, right? This is just something that we ought to know better about. But I want to say this as a way of saying how genuinely grateful I am to be teaching in opportunities like this. And I'm going to follow that up by mentioning some of us talked about this privately, but I did announce, you may have caught this, that when I realized I had to retire from Concordia University because they weren't going to let me back in the classroom, um, I mentioned this also to uh, my lawyer who was posting the official announcement of this online. By the way, is an LCMS guy from the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. I mentioned to him that I felt this was the time I had to retire because I believe, Lord knows, but I believe I've got a lot more to offer the church. And so that was my intent, was to get free of the nonsense. Uh, you know what I mean? Of the nonsense. Okay. And so the Lord has answered our prayers in the family. And I actually am going to be serving full time in the Lutheran School of Theology in Kenya. I'm serving there as academic dean. So what that really means is, goodness sakes, it doesn't mean I'm really an administrator. I have a very bad reaction to administrators these days. Oh, I'm getting hives even just talking about it. But this is primarily for the purpose of being there to teach, but then also to mentor both the American pastors who are able to volunteer their valuable time to teach a 2-week class, to get them set for that, help them with their syllabi and that sort of thing. But especially, I think you'd be interested in this, to mentor the African bishops and pastors from the Synod we're in fellowship with the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Kenya. And I've already been working on some of that over the summer at a distance, but this is just an amazing opportunity. I would also ask for your prayers, and as you might feel appropriate, for your congregational prayers too. So the my installation is actually about the first or second week in September in Kenya. So do keep my wife Paul and me and my work there in your prayers. I would count on that, as I'll remember to be praying for all of you here with the labors of love you're doing for the Lord.